What's up, everyone? First off, huge thank you to Spygon for that really cool intro you just saw there. I've been doing some fantastic work with him, and the last couple of weeks I'm starting off my channel when it comes to getting my profile picture and my banner and this really cool intro, all thanks to him. So definitely go check out his content. I've linked his YouTube down below. If you like Pokemon, he does great commentary and great playthroughs and stuff, so definitely do that. So next up, we're going to talk about the team. This team was originally passed to me by a friend, Basically Hastur, over on my Discord server, which again is linked below. So if you wanted to kind of get to know the community, pass me teams, just kind of discuss monotypes in general, do join that Discord. So he passed me this team, which I have edited slightly to include Incineroar, and I kind of changed the items and EV spreads around, but hopefully he doesn't mind me editing slightly. So I was in testing, this team is doing fantastically well, and we're going to go into it now. So first up we have Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is going to be your typical dual screen support on a dark team, but instead of T-Wave, we're running Taunt, which is really good to stop enemy hazards, or just to kind of stop enemy setup and stuff like Quiver Dance on Volcarona and the likes. And finally we have Spirit Break for just good stab. It also lowers special attack, which is again more team support. I accidentally got rid of that there, so we put that back on. So normally it's a specially defensive build you use on Grimmsnarl, but I'm using a physically defensive build, and you'll see why later. It's Tyranitar. So next up we have Urshifu. So this set and Urshifu remain the exact same from what I was sent, but instead I'm putting Choice Scarf instead of Choice Band, just because I feel the team needs a bit of speed control. Other than that, it's a great answer to fairy types with Iron Head. It can pivot around the U-turn, and close combat and Wicked Blow are just really strong stab, as well as having great speed tiering. So 95 speed is, I'd say, pretty maybe average to above average, or kind of what you want to beat when it comes to Scarfers. So 97 just beats out things like Darmanitan and Kyurem, which is important. Next up we have Tyranitar. So Tyranitar, this is a great Tyranitar set, I love it. It is a Assault Vest Tyranitar. In the sand, boosted with Assault Vest, this thing is almost unkillable with special attacks. It's just so strong. I'm not exactly sure why it has 100 attack IVs, but I'm sure it's there for a reason. So these IVs remained unchanged from what Hastur sent me. The only small change I've made here is I changed Crunch to Heavy Slam, and the reason behind this, I think it's nice for kind of like heavy slamming fairies like Clefable, Gardevoir. It can eat the Moonblast so easily, or Dazzling Gleams so easily, and just click Heavy Slam and get kills there. Earthquake is for kind of steel teams, Stone Edge is just nice stab, and Fire Blast is really good against catching fire types like Corviknight or Ferrothorn off guard. So really cool set there. Next up we have Bisharp. Bisharp was originally a banded Bisharp, but I've changed this to Life Orb Bisharp originally. I'm changing to a full HP Leftovers Bisharp. It's going to be kind of like a tank, a mixed tank, especially behind screens. It has a lot of longevity, can Swords Dance in threats' faces, has great team support and knockoff. Doesn't really care too much about its speed tier thanks to Sucker Punch, and Iron Head again, just great stab and super effective on fairy types. So great Bisharp overall. I'm quite a fan of this. As I said, it was originally max speed Life Orb, but I'm going for a max HP build just because the team kind of does lack a bit of longevity or recovery. Next up we have Hydreigon. Hydreigon is my Choice Specs user. I was kind of surprised how little special attackers Dark had until yesterday. I looked up how many Dark types we currently have in the tier, and we don't have many special attackers, so it's important to have like a really good special wall breaker, which is why we have Hydreigon with Choice Specs. The moveset remains unchanged, except this used to be U-turn, but I fought a team who had Toxic Spikes and the team and Spikes stacking, which the team is super weak to, so I have Defog here just on the small off chance I need to defog away like Sticky Webs or Toxic Spikes, something that my team really hates. Though my team doesn't hate Sticky Webs too much, as in general they're a bit slow. Hydreigon ignores them, tends to Levitate, and Bisharp gets a Defiant boost off them, which is super scary. And finally, this used to be a Crawdaunt build, a Crawdaunt Life Orb, but I wanted to try out a Heavy Duty Boots setup Incineroar, and it's been doing fantastically for me. Its fire typing is neutral to Bug, neutral to Fairy, which is really good, So what it does is it kind of just bulks up and flame charges to gain loads of stat boost, which makes Power Trip really strong for a fantastic late game sweep. It also has Drain Punch for longevity against steel types if Flame Charge won't kill, or rock types for example. I can just get a ton of HP back off thanks to Drain Punch. EVs are especially defensive build. The reason for this is Intimidate cuts physical attacker's attack in the first place, and I can just bulk up in their face anyway. So he has no way of boosting up his special defense. So I max special defense, and the reason for 16 speed IVs is it puts you to 320 speed at +2 flame charges, which, as I said earlier, outspeeds things at 95 base Pokemon like Darmanitan or Kyurem, or any other 95 or lower speed, which is kind of important. So that is the team. I'm going to pause till we find the game. I'll be right back. So we have our first game, and it is against Mono Electric. So right off the bat, my team doesn't like Zero Aura too much. Other than that, I kind of do a lot of damage to things. I have to be worried about putting Bisharp in front of Magnezone, especially if it's a body press build. But I love Tyranitar in this game to just sit in front of walls. Be a wall for things like Raichu or Toxtricity. So in this game, we're actually going to open up Urshifu, as there's nothing they can really threaten with. As they go Magnezone, which lets me click Close Combat turn 1. I expect maybe a swap into Toxtricity or Raichu here, as they end up giving me Magnezone, which is quite nice for later in the game for Bisharp to go hard as Rotom Wash comes out. So I kind of just swap in Hydreigon. It might Toxic me, it might Volt Switch into something else, as it tries to go for a Will-O-Wisp, and it misses, unfortunately for them. And in this position, I can just click Dark Pulse, nothing like swapping into a Specs Dark Pulse, as unfortunately they missed the Hydro Pump as well, so I feel bad for them. Granted, that wouldn't have done too much to Hydreigon in the long run, as they give me Rotom. So if they go Zero Aura here, in case they're a bulk up build, I'm just going to stay in their face and click Dark Pulse, as they look to be either probably Choice Banded. So I'm going to get Urshifu out again and just click Wicked Blow. Wicked Blow can get a kill like right off the bat. If they swap into Pinsirchin, it KOs. It one KOs Raichu and possibly one KOs Toxtricity as well. So Pinsirchin comes in here and we just click Wicked Blow again. We don't have to think too much. When Raichu comes out, my Tyranitar comes out, simple as that. Nice, so that'll just about do a KO. And here, Raichu can outspeed Urshifu and want to KO it, which is fine with me. So I'm going to give them this. If in case they Nasty Plot, they do die. So they have to go for a Rising Voltage, of course, yeah. As they reveal Life Orb. So here Tyranitar kind of just comes in and clicks Earthquake. As we see, 738 special defense is monstrous. So it eats a Focus Blast, which is 4 body damage with a Life Orb, and just clicks Earthquake and gets a kill. So it just leaves Toxtricity left, which between Grimmsnarl and Bisharp and Incineroar, I should have no issue taking care of, even if it is a Shift Gear build. So we click Earthquake here. As they Boom Burst, which does 12% of Tyranitar. So this is Tyranitar absolutely sitting in front of things and just taking hits. So that's the first game, and we're going to pause till we find another one. So we found our next game, and it's against Mono Normal. So Mono Normal can be a bit tricky. Urshifu is definitely amazing in this game. I have to worry about double to kind of just click Body Press and Cotton Guard. So that's a bit of an issue. Other than that, I don't like DD's ability to kind of click Dazzling Gleam on some of my Pokemon, but Tyranitar will have no issue with that. So I have to save Hydreigon for double for sure. So I'm going to open up Urshifu, as it kind of just clicks Close Combat on most things. As I actually open up double. So we're just going to go for a strong hit here and click Close Combat, which does no damage whatsoever, as they reveal Rocky Helmet. So unfortunately it looks like I'm going to have to sack something here to get in Hydreigon. So I think Incineroar is the most expendable member here. Just trying to think. Yeah, because Tyranitar is important for Indeedee. But Drain Punch is super good against. So actually I like Incineroar. I think maybe Grimmsnarl is the most expendable here. So I'll taunt just to make sure they can't rest up on me. And I can get in Hydreigon and click Flamethrower. If they swap into Blissey or Chansey, very good play. As they give me double, which is super important for me in the end game. So Chansey comes out, and I go in Bisharp here to kind of click Knockoff. Nothing likes taking a knockoff. As they Seismic Toss me. And that's okay, because I can eat 3. So Ditto hates being knocked off, it doesn't want to lose its Choice Scarf. I have to be wary about setting up my Incineroar. That did tons of damage. And I can kind of Sword Dance in its face. If it does start to bulk up or curse itself, Wicked Blow is fantastic. And for Indeedee, as I said, I always have a Tyranitar to swap into. As they have disconnected, which means they might not come back. So in this scenario, I would have Swords Dance here and just started clicking Iron Head, or a knockoff for Chansey and Blissey. If they went Indeedee, I always go Tyranitar, who can eat basically every hit they can do. As they stay in, revealing the fact they are indeed Curse. So I'm going to Iron Head just to get as much damage off from this as possible. Flinch is so good for me. Sucks for the opponent, I'm sorry for them. But that's super good for me, as now I have a max HP Bisharp. So I believe max HP Bisharp can actually eat Mystical Fire from Indeedee. I'm going to knock off here. I don't care about them copying me, but I want to get rid of their Choice Scarf. And again, nothing like swapping to a knock. As they knock me, so I'm going to risk a Sucker Punch here, as I win this speed tie, or maybe they didn't go for Sucker Punch, which is super nice. So Indeedee comes in, and as I said, I always go Tyranitar on Indeedee. There's nothing it can really do to me. Mystical Fire does 5%, which is kind of embarrassing for it. And I'm at the position now where Urshifu really goes in hard in the end game. I click Stone Edge as Chansey comes in. So Chansey can be an issue. Thankfully I can knock off with Bisharp, which will make Urshifu even better in the end game. So again, nothing like swapping into a knockoff here, as they give me Chansey's Eviolite. Super important for me to kind of just come in now and click buttons with Urshifu. So I click Close Combat here, as it should knock out Indeedee. I'm not 100% sure. I could damage calc it, but just to be safe, I'm going to go into Tyranitar, who I know can take a hit from this. Because then I can come back out and click Wicked Blow, which should 2-hit KO Chansey and absolutely 1-hit KO Indeedee. So I go for another Stone Edge here. As I do miss. They do reveal Leftovers and Blissey, which is okay with me. I'm actually going to start setting up my Incineroar, as they try attack. Interesting. So after a bulk up, I can start Drain Punching the Blissey, which will get me loads of HP back, due to Blissey having so much HP. So I'll just click Drain Punch here, which does an absolute ton of damage and gets me all my HP back. So they're probably, I was going to say, rolling for a freeze or paralysis, but I believe Flame Charge should thaw me. Oh no, it's only if they use one on me. Okay, so that's a bit annoying. It's not the worst position, as I actually end up knocking Blissey out. And I kind of just click Flame Charge in front of Indeedee. Actually, Power Trip at this percentage should kill, as they basically forfeit by clicking Expanding Force. So I'm going to pause there till I find another game. So we have a game against Mono Ghost, which in theory should go in my favour. But you never know. I really do hate burns in this game, but Incineroar again goes in very hard. We're going to open up Hydreigon, expecting maybe a Corsola opening, as they go Gengar. And they can click Dazzling Gleam here, so I'm going to go Tyranitar in case they do. And from that position, I can kind of just click Earthquake. Yeah, so I expect the Dazzling Gleam to come out there, so that was a good swap on my part. And I click Earthquake here, which kind of does damage to everything except maybe like Corsola, who won't particularly care about taking the Earthquake. But with Corsola, they can't Strength Sap my Bisharp, as it will actually activate my Defiant boost. As for Aegislash, I want to keep Urshifu alive for Wicked Blows through King's Shield. Should OHKO it, as far as I know. As they continue to Dazzling Gleam me and give me a Gengar, which is nice. Unfortunately, they do crit and disable me, which might come into play later on. But right now, it's not too bad. They give me one of their strongest options against Hydreigon. Mimikyu can still be an issue, of course, with Play Rough. But between Screens and Bisharp, I should be able to take care of it nicely enough. Speaking of which, it comes out here. So I'm going to go for Intimidate with Incineroar. And kind of just Flame Charge it. It might be a Drain Punch variant, which can definitely be an issue. So they often run Drain Punch for things like Bisharp, or other Dark types that give it trouble. Though Play Rough is also very, of course, good against Dark types. As I Swords Dance again in my face. So at this position, I think it's best I sack something, as Incineroar still goes really well in the end game. So I'm going to sack my Grimmsnarl here on what I expect to be a Play Rough, which lets me get an Urshifu, and they can't really click Shadow Sneak because it won't kill me, and Wicked Blow just gets a kill here, as far as I know. And thankfully I do outspeed this. Nice. So they give me Mimikyu, which is one of the big threats to my team. As for Jellicent, as I said, Strength Sapping Bisharp is so good. I go Hydreigon here, expecting a Will-O-Wisp to come out, which kind of lets me click Dark Pulse, and hopefully they won't disable me with Cursed Body. They can Strength Sap, sure, but after a while the Dark Pulses should knock them out, as that does so much damage, thanks to it being Specs. And I don't care too much for the Stealth Rocks in this game. I have Heavy Duty Boots on Incineroar, and everyone else doesn't need too much HP. So they're in the position now where they have to reveal a Choice Scarf user, which could be Chandelure, but Tyranitar can easily wall that. This is the first Ghost team I've seen in quite a while. I don't see too much Ghost on the ladder anymore, maybe because Dark is quite prevalent at the moment in the meta, I feel. As they reveal Aegislash, so they could be a weakness policy. But again, nothing outspeeds Urshifu on their team at the moment, and they can't even King's Shield or Wicked Blow. So with a bit of chip I get from Dark Pulse, Wicked Blow should finish them off. I say a bit of chip, but that did so much damage. So I give them Hydreigon. Again, I can take in Urshifu here and just click Wicked Blow. They might go for a King's Shield expecting to block it, but thanks to Unseen Fist it goes right through. Yeah, exactly, they went for the King's Shield there, trying to get an attack drop, but it's no good. So this position, Jellicent should be walled out by Bisharp if it's a Strength Sap variant, and Chandelure is walled out completely by Tyranitar. So Jellicent comes out. I'm going to Wicked Blow again anyway. And it's just 1-hit KOs. So that was probably especially defensive Jellicent. Urshifu is going in ridiculously hard in this game, in this showcase in general. And again, I just click Wicked Blow here. They could be Sash, in which case Tyranitar Sandstream takes care of it. Otherwise, it's a guaranteed KO. So, GG. I'll look for another game and I'll be right back. So we found a game and it is against another Mono Dark. I'm not sure how this matchup goes entirely. I do like Urshifu in this game. As well as that, I like Incineroar's ability to click Drain Punch in the late game. And just kind of be very bulky. So Hydreigon doesn't have too much of a role here besides maybe taking care of Grimmsnarl. So I'm actually going to try open up Hydreigon. I expect him to open Grimmsnarl exactly. So I click Flash Cannon here as they trick me. And it does not affect me because I am Dark type. It's good to know what they are now. So they actually give me Grimmsnarl, which is one of the biggest issues to my team. So that's super nice. Unfortunately, it puts them in a position where they can kind of take out Urshifu here. And I don't really have an answer to this. But I will here scout to see if it's Choice Scarf or Choice Band. As it's Choice Scarf with Focus Blast. Oh, as it is actually a Zoroark, so that makes sense. And that was silly of me to think that. So good bluff there. But I can kind of get out Grimmsnarl here and start setting up my screens, which helped me immensely in the late game. As unfortunately they miss Focus Miss. That is exactly what Focus Miss does. But they crit the last one, so I guess it kind of makes up for it. So Bisharp is an issue for me. Urshifu is my only real answer to this, as they go for a power-up punch. Miraculous is close combat. I expect Mandibuzz to come out, as they give me Bisharp. Okay, so the game looks like it's going to go in my favour. I still have Grimmsnarl alive for later on. If they are Scarf, that could be an issue. I'm not sure, as I do outspeed, so that could have been a speed type, as they end up forfeiting. So, nice. Dark going in really hard in this episode. Big shoutouts to Basically Hastur for sending me this team. I did tweak it slightly. I can send both the original team and my tweaked version if you want, in the link below. So let me know about that. But huge shoutouts because that was a really, really fun team. I've really slept on Dark this entire time. Not really a type I play too often, but it did some superb work here. The team also doesn't really lose to Fairy or Bug too bad, thanks to the likes of Bisharp and Incineroar. It does lose quite badly to Fighting, but it comes a point in some matchups you just kind of have to accept that you're going to lose some. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you have any teams you want to send me, absolutely send them my way. I will edit them if I feel things could be changed, or if you don't want me editing them, just let me know and I'll use them exactly as they are. So yeah, Dark just doing really well, so let me know what types you want to see next, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.